And hello to another beautiful episode of The Shanks Show with your hosts, Shanka Ponsley, and
Andrea Ferguson.
on this beautiful Monday, November 28th, we are geared to a pretty interesting week because everything will be under the guise of me getting prepared to go on a long, long journey on Friday. But also, we have a lot of things to arrange. And in order to do that, Andrea wants to teach you about some essential skills that are not necessarily directly business skills, but at the same time are very important to be good business leaders, which of course Andrea and we are. Andrea, what is the number one on your list?
My number one tip that I have,
Your number one skill, yeah, for business leaders.
sleeping.
Sleeping?
Yep.
Okay. So what can you tell us about how sleeping enough, I assume it's about sleeping enough, makes you feel, and what does that do to your business?
So it may sound like a joke that I say sleeping is a tip, but I'm very serious about it. Sleeping is one of the most basic functions that our body does, but one of the most least understood roles that our body plays in our lives. So everybody understands that we need to sleep. We hear it 8 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not 8 hours for everyone. And the quality of the sleep that you get is sometimes more important than having a full 8 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say to the skeptic who's like, well, no, I need to run my business, ask yourself, is it better to work with a clear mind that's focused and able to do 3 times more? What if you could 10x your business because you were able to work at your optimum level that you could function at? Ask yourself these questions and then ask yourself why you're not getting enough sleep. When you regulate your sleep, you actually have better control of your schedule. When you have better control of your schedule and you're more organized, you're more efficient. So there is a method to the madness of sleeping, and I would say that that is my number one tip. And later, I can tell you a little bit more about some sleep science that I dug into.
Okay, so that is very interesting. Now, the sleep you are speaking of is called REM, is that correct? The deep sleep?
That is correct. You have certain state. It's not like you should skip any state of sleep. Like it all matters. Your body is a beast. Your body knows everything that it's doing. And when you take when you take naps for certain periods of time, that's important in recovering and rejuvenating your body as well. And maybe you're not going to get to the deepest level of sleep when you go nap, but that's also essential as well. And it depends on the climate that you're in. So people who live in like a desert are going to operate a little bit differently than those that live in, say, like a winter climate all of the time. But it's very important to get the full sleep that you need for the evening to prepare for the day.
Yeah, I think it is REM sleep, and
Yeah.
I might confuse that completely with some term that I discovered while studying electronic dance music
No,
this afternoon. But
rapid eye movement is what
oh,
you're
okay.
discussing, and yeah, that
Uh,
is an important phase of sleep that some people don't hit or they don't get enough deep sleep.
oh, so your eyes are moving while your eyelids are closed.
Yeah, and
Mm,
it's so funny because it's really like you're reading.
mm.
Like you could imagine yourself. Um, I know even when I'm thinking of something, my eyes are moving, maybe not quite as rapidly as when I'm sleeping, but yeah, the body does incredible things.
Yeah, I mean, from a practical level, I can definitely tell that whenever I sleep enough, I work quicker, I have better ideas. I also enjoy work more, my morale is good. And I don't know, to be honest, it's one of those things in life for me where it's not, the answer is not always the same, because sometimes I really like to be exhausted and run on very few hours of sleep, because it gives me some form of adrenaline and sense of accomplishment that I only get when I know, there's been several days where I've only gotten 4 hours of sleep per night. And going back to the EDM producing process, I just like had watched this amazing masterclass with Mouse, who is an electronic dance music producer, and he talks about his greatest breakthroughs in terms of creativity coming when he exhausts his brain so much that it stops putting a logic test to everything, and like, creativity has full flow because you don't have the filters of societal restrictions on anything anymore. And I imagine that applies a lot to creativity. Of course, we are in a line of work where very often accuracy is more important than creativity, although creativity always is part of it. And yeah, it's just this whole sleeping thing is so amazing, because I remember when as a child, and then as a teenager, as a young adult, you just cannot care less about sleep, right? You
Yeah,
literally fight. I used to fight with my mom not having to go to bed, because you basically a sucker for the night. you
yeah,
you like late hours. They give you something special. They make you feel privileged in a way, not having to sleep. And then as you grow older and you start adulting, you definitely get a different relationship with sleep again. And we are way in that phase where, when we look at a Friday or Saturday night, and we look at going to a club or a concert or some kind of event versus staying in and watching a movie and going to bed at a reasonable time, more often than not will opt for number two, right? And it's just very interesting. But there
yeah.
are moments, and I'm gonna finish then, because I know you have stuff to say. But there are, like, last week or the week before was truly one where I had like pushed it too far with sleep deprivation, and also working long hours. The day started at 5 a.m., going straight to 8 p.m., 9 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m., back to back for over a week. And then it's just like, no, we need to sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry for being on a roll
No,
here.
there was just a lot that you said, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget about the points that you made. The most prominent one in my head is about Deadmau5, and the way that his relationship with sleep reminds me of like a drug, actually, because basically, essentially, what's happening is he's depriving his brain and his body of sleep, putting it into an altered state, which is similar to hallucination. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why he gets really creative. And we know that there are a lot of creatives that do have different relationships with their brain than I would say the average person. And that's where you always hear that line, that fine line between crazy and genius. And
Mm-hmm.
they often also have insomnia. I don't know if it's intentionally depriving himself of sleep or if it's just that's what his patterns of behavior are and he observes it and just kind of goes with the flow. Some people get in a flow state and they do different things to get there, or it just happens in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say if it's a temporary thing, okay, but long term sleep deprivation can actually, like I said, lead to hallucination and you can even die. So
Mm-hmm.
the human body can go, what is it, like 3 weeks without eating? It's insane. 3 weeks without eating, something like 11, well, how many? 3 days without drinking water. Less than that if you're in the desert, sometimes a few hours. But it's 264 hours or just over 11 consecutive days. That's the longest recorded time someone has gone without sleep. And even then, it's still unclear exactly how humans can survive, how long we can survive without sleep. But
Yeah.
it only takes a few days, like few nights, 3 or 4 nights without sleep, where you start to hallucinate.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because this is literally life and death, and your body. Of course, we're not. The typical person isn't depriving themselves for days and days on end without sleep. Now, even if we're working hard and doing all of these things, we may catch a nap or go into a certain state of sleep, and snooze really hard. But it's not a habit. And if it is, that is cause for concern. And also, you're just more prone to developing Alzheimer's or
Mm-hmm.
dementia and all of these um, conditions because
Yeah.
the brain responds to
Yeah.
deprivation, and including like it doesn't get enough oxygen. You start losing coordination and balance. And then, of course, like you said, there's no accuracy in your day to day, like work and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I have to think about other great minds that reportedly don't sleep much. One was Elon Musk. The
Mm-hmm.
other one, I believe Thomas Edison, was known to sleep very little. And then also a modern day influencer hero, Mr. Beast, claims working to exhaustion and not caring too much about rest, although when he does feel like resting, it sounds like he will do that. But I think to stay on the safe side, it's not a bad idea to get in your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I can function on 5 hours, but optimal, as we know by scientific measurements and findings, I believe it's said to be 8 hours, right?
Well, the studies of sleep
Mm.
science is getting more and more accurate because
Mm-hmm.
we have such things as, drumroll please, sleep
Mm-hmm.
numbers
Woo!
and really amazing mattresses with
Huh.
technology built in.
Oh, and we
They
have
have,
one like
yeah,
that.
we have one. We have an app that helps us to track our quality of sleep,
Yeah.
helps us, they even gives tips to provide like information on how to get better quality of sleep, so our sleep performance is tracked, all of these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that Mr. B's bed is really, really nice. So the mattress that you sleep on has, oh my
How did you
goodness.
notice that,
I
Andrea?
was watching a video of his and it had his bed. He showed his bedroom, he showed the
Oh,
mattress. It looked incredible. And that makes sense because if you're going to get a few hours of sleep, it might as well be a few good quality hours of sleep.
yeah.
So it's an investment when you pay thousands of dollars into a mattress that is basically going to guarantee you that your body is getting the sleep that it needs, which by the way, if you're a couple, it's like 90% chance that you are not going to have the same sleep number, which is another way of calculating like what the comfort level is for you, your spine, your back, and your neck, and all of that.
Although you and I, we seem to be around 25, 30 now in our
Yeah,
sleep number.
yeah. Yours is a little under the average male, though.
Yeah,
I think because of your former condition with your back, you have
right.
a different sleep number.
Uh,
But most mattresses, I think, are a bit more firm for men. So, yeah, that means that either the lady has her back jacked up or the guy has his back jacked up. So, anyway, or the lady and the lady and the guy and the guy. But the point is that
Is that in a polyamorous household?
now it's in a gay household.
Oh, okay. I thought everybody was together in a bed.
Oh my goodness. And with that, on that note, we hope that tonight, when you do get ready to go to bed, you think of this conversation.
With however many partners there may be.
My dear. So you think about it. Not this. You think about the quality of sleep you could obtain just by, closing that laptop an hour early or getting in the bed just a little bit earlier so you have a little bit more time to fall asleep.
And if you do have a sleep number, please type it in the comments.
Yeah.
We are super curious. Like mine is 25, Andrea.
Mine went from 35 to 25.
Okay.
I realized it was so much better. 25, yeah.
And then let us know yours. And yeah, quite interesting episode today, talking a lot about sleep. Yeah, don't sleep too much, and
we didn't talk about that.
And
yeah,
don't sleep not enough.
Yeah.
But hey, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again